Hello, everyone, and welcome to the High Level CEO series. I am so excited because today we are here with the Jackie McDonald EFT teacher. She's also a business mentor. It's going to be incredible and powerful and all the things. I'm going to let her in. Hello, Jackie. Okay. Here we go. So this conversation, we are going to be looking at what Jackie does and how she's been able to grow her business through her own work and modalities. Hello, Jackie. How are you?
I'm great. I'm so excited for this conversation today. Thank you for having me.
Yay. Well, thank you for coming. I'm so excited. Okay. Hello, everyone who's watching a live. Feel free to ask questions, to respond, to comment during our time together, because there's going to be some gold in here. So thank you for coming on to the High Level series, IG series that I've started. Yeah, I was like, I needed to talk to you about, we're going to talk a little bit about what you do, but a higher level conversation around, and I had talked to you about this a little bit, left a little voice note, but around the energetics. And like, who did you have to become to get to where you are today? So come in, introduce yourself, and we'll dive in.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for having me. I teach a modality called EFT tapping. So it's a form of somatic subconscious support that really blends the mind and body together. I often say tapping found me at my worst and brought me to my best, because before I started tapping, I went through a lot of loss, and I had a lot of anxiety, and my nervous system is really stuck in a fight or flight state. So I came to this work to really heal my body. But what it opened up for me was an amazing, beautiful life. I was able to not only learn how to heal myself, but teach others too. And so I brought my business online when my daughter was just a baby. I was 19 when I found tapping. I went through a ton of loss and grief, healed myself, and then started to teach others. I started on Facebook Live. Honestly, I just went live every Tuesday for Tapping Tuesdays. I would tap on topics that were relevant to me. And I would go to networking events and offer to tap with the community, because it was really cool how it all developed. I started to see that when speakers would be invited to speak at an event, that was great. But if you could come to an event and give someone an experience, it was a whole other level. So that's originally how I got tapping out into the world. My mission and vision is to get it into the hands, hearts, and homes of people worldwide. And I can talk a lot about what I had to do to get to this version of myself, but you let me know where you want me to dive in.
Yeah. So, I mean, where you were from the beginning, where you're going in, doing these Facebook Lives, doing it at events. Yeah. Tell us where you are today. Like, how many years was that from there to where you are today? And then we can kind of dive into some of the shifts that needed to happen energetically for you to jump.
Yeah, so 2016, I did my first in-person event, and I actually won a spot on stage. So whoever sold the most tickets could win a spot on stage. So I won a spot on stage 2016. I got in front of all these female entrepreneurs who I wanted to be like. I felt like a total fraud in the room. I was like, I don't belong here, but I'm just going to put my way. And through that Facebook group and through that event, I added people as friends, started tapping on my own Facebook page. And so 2016, it was kind of like audience building. Then 2018, actually, what shifted was I left a long-term relationship that was limiting me. And I stepped out. I really drastically changed my life. I was a young new mom. I mean, my business was a baby. I was a baby. I was like, what am I doing? But I knew that I had to release in order to receive. And that's the core philosophy for what I teach in EFT. So I left the relationship, and I remember I had like $70 in my bank account. And I was like, oh my God, how am I going to pay my mortgage? Like, what am I doing? But that really motivated me to figure it the F out. Like, there was no wasting time. There was no dilly-dallying. It was like, it really made me go all in. And so I remember I had $70 in my account. I actually went to a retreat in Sedona, and at that retreat, it was an example of how I could trust and always be provided for, because I felt like kind of crazy for doing that, but I went and I was provided for every step of the way on that retreat. And at that event, I said, I came up with the idea of doing $21 for 21 days. So 21 days of tapping for $21. And before that, I had tested and tried things that had worked, but never really like everyone saying yes. And so I just put one line on Facebook. I was like, I'm going to tap for 21 days. Does anyone want to join me? It'll be $21. And I had 183 comments, 183 people.
Wow.
And I was like, what? That's the thing? Like, that's the thing you want? And from there, you know, up until that point, I remember hearing like, you need to have a funnel and I was like, that's what I need. I need this thing called a funnel. But I accidentally built a funnel through all these people in the 21 days. I kept doing that over and over again. And then people would say like, we don't want the 21 days to end. Like, we want to do this every day. So then I created a membership called the Release to Receive Tapping Membership. And that slowly started to build this dedicated following. And then from there, it was a really big jump for me, but I decided to do a tapping certification. And I remember I rejected it at the beginning because I was like, I can't do this. Like, I don't want to step on other people's toes. You can go to other people to get certified. I don't want to make other people in the industry mad. I had all these reasons why I shouldn't or couldn't do it. But it was like, it chose me. I didn't choose it. It was like being called by something greater. And so I stepped into it. I was like, okay, same thing. I put on Facebook one line. I'm going to teach 6 people tapping. I'm going to do only 6. And if you're interested, let me know. Again, a ton of comments. I was like, what? That's the thing they want? So it was a lot of like me overcoming the fear of what other people thought, the fear of pushing buttons, and honestly being seen in a greater way, because I live in a small town, and I was like, what are people going to think of me? Like, I'm tapping on my face and talking about my feelings. Like, this looks weird. So it was a lot of one step at a time, and really like trusting, but like pushing past my comfort zone in that way that built to now I have a 6-figure company, people tapping all over the world. It's been translated in Spanish. I have almost 200 now, actually after this round, 200 people certified in my certification. So yeah.
What? 200 people have been certified? That's incredible.
Yeah.
Oh my God, so amazing. Okay, anyone have any questions that's watching so far? Let us know if you have any comments or questions. Okay, so there's a couple things that came through. You know, when we're looking at breaking through to that next level, so many of you watching, let me know if you feel this way or you're desiring to break through and go even bigger in your business. You can see where you want to go, right? You know it's going to be something massive. You know it's going to be big. And it's like, but how do I get there? And there's a couple things that, you know, as you were speaking, really stood out to me. So one was following those nudges, right? Following those hits. You're in Sedona, you get this hit, $21, 21 days. You could have overthought. You could have been like, that's like really low ticket. You know, maybe it wasn't aligned with the bigger vision, but you didn't overthink. You're like, let's just put this out. Let's just see where this goes. And you let the intuitive hit come through, and then you took action on it. So that came through as like one of the big things for you, even for this like certification school that came through for you as well. And the membership, it sounds as though it was like you were getting these hits, got these nudges, and you did have, though, the ego come in. You did have those moments where it's like, who do you think you are? Those people, and this happens to me, I'm getting better at it, where you do see people in your industry or in your niche who are further ahead, you know, maybe they've been doing it longer, or maybe they have like more programs or more people, or whatever it may be. And then you go, but I don't want to step on their toes. Or what are they going to think? Are they going to judge me? And what I had to do myself is be like, but that's not who I'm here for. Like, I'm not here on this earth for people who are in my industry or niche and making sure they're happy and pleased. I'm here to make the impact, right? And that's what you chose for yourself. You had to overcome those limiting beliefs or the fears of, am I stepping on toes? what will they think? Are they going to say, who does Jackie think she is, right? To suddenly do a certification program. Are you going to say something? I feel like you're like dying.
I totally felt that way. I literally
Yeah.
had to put blinders on and like serve the people in front of me. And one of the things in the industry that I still get caught up on is like, you have to have this perfect system in place, or you have to have this plan. Like, okay, well, the 21 days is going to lead to the membership. It's going to lead to the certificate. I didn't know that at the time. I was just like, it's just what I know to do. And I was like, I'm going to show up for me every day and tap every day, so you guys can come with me. And I still have people say, Jackie, you're giving way too much for only $21. Like, you should do an evergreen. And I'm like, my membership now is called the Unconventional Woman, because I really believe in doing things in the way that feels right for you. And I still, every time I run it, I'm running it in May, I run it live. It's $21 for 21 days. And the thing is, my energy is a part of it, and people keep coming back for more. People keep rebuying, and I get to really know the people in front of me, because to me, it's not about the money. It's about getting this into the hands, hearts, and homes of more people. And so you will hear comments like that. You will hear people say, that's too cheap. You shouldn't give that much. You have to do what feels right for you. And it's okay to build it as you go. Like, that's truly how I got here. I remember for tapping school, I was doing the modules the night before they would go out. I'm like, okay, I'd write them out. My business partner and I would record them, edit them, and to this day those are complete gold, because there's so much we said in those, there's so much we did that wasn't written, that I'm like, I'm not redoing these are gold. So don't be afraid to build it in stages and not know, or like, how's the client journey gonna go, or what's gonna buy into next. Like, for me, it was very divinely guided.
I can totally agree, you know, especially when you're in your first year or two in business. It's like, we're doing the thing, we're starting from square one, and it's like leading from your intuition, just showing up and doing the recordings. And then as you grow and as you know what you're doing, you can then start to build those sequences and the systems and the lead magnets. You were doing it naturally. You didn't realize that one thing led into the other, but now you can refine it, and now you can create other lead magnets or other offers that then lead into the bigger thing as well.
Yeah, now that's exactly what I did. Is then I went in and refined it, because if I had gone the other way, I could have, made a plan and built it out, and then it not work, and so it would have been a waste of my time. So doing it the way I did it, it was like, okay, I know this works. People love it. Now I'm gonna hire consultants to come in and write email, or that's where I build out the team, and now I have a really solid team that. And that was another big growth moment for me, was understanding, like, if I wanted to have a big business, I needed to work on the belief and release the beliefs that I could do it all on my own. And as a single mom, that belief was really strong, that I can do it all on my own. Like, yeah, you can, but you're not going to go very far, very fast. And just hiring my first person to do a sales page for me was like mind blowing. I was like, wow, so
good. It's so funny. I actually just recorded a podcast episode today, and it was around like how being a product-based owner, CEO, makes me a great coach. And so I was like, one of the points was around hiring a team to expand that business, and then bringing it into my own coaching business and in with my own clients. But it's funny how you're talking about it today, right now, how you're like, if I want to go bigger and I have this grand vision, you can't do it alone. And it's also like leading into it. I also said in the podcast how it wasn't where I had an SEO team, my website team, a corporate lawyer, an accountant. Like, it was one thing. It started off with like a website team.
Yeah.
And then it was hiring staff to like create the product, to make the product. So I was hands off. And then we built to the other things, right? As you expand and grow.
It's so true. And that's a scary moment. When I remember hiring my first VA, I think it was like $300 a month. But to me, I was like, I can't pay that. And she was like, and then I hired her, but then I didn't use her, because I was like so embedded in this belief that I had to do it on my own, that she was like, was like prying something away from me. She's like, just let me do this. But once you break through that, and if you talk to CEOs that have multi-million-dollar businesses, because I've researched this over and over and over again, when they're asked, what helped you get to 10 million? What helped you get to 20 million? They all say, it's a team. It's my team. You have to have a $1 million team, a 6-figure team. It's the people that you surround yourself with that depict where you're going to go.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And even if right now it's like, where do I begin? Just begin like what Jackie was saying. She started with the VA with the 300 per month. And we have to trust too. And I remember being afraid too, investing in my VA as well. But it's trusting that when we make these investments, even though we're like, maybe not sure what kind of money is going to come in the next month, it's like having the faith that when we're energetically supported, right, physically, but also energetically, then we're able to do the things that we're meant to do, and we're able to receive more because we are being supported as well energetically that way.
And
okay, so
go
ahead.
And you mentioned podcasts, because before I ever hired a VA or anything, I was surrounding myself with people through podcasts. Like I would listen to Lewis Howes podcast religiously. Even before I started my business, I would, on my way to and from work, be listening to it. And I would affirm, one day I will be on the other side of the microphone. One day I'll be the one sharing my gifts. And so wherever you're starting from, you know, it can be as simple as surrounding yourselves through listening to Chris's podcast or listening to this. It's like infusing your life with that energy.
And your podcast.
Yes, and
too.
Podcast, yes.
Is it yours? Is it called the Unconventional Woman, right?
It is. It's not
Podcast,
launched yet, but it is coming, and it's coming beginning of June. And you're, so you can listen.
I am. Amazing. Okay, but one last thing is this, I feel like is the juiciest thing, you know, having this high level conversation, breaking through to your next level, is when you're talking about, you could see where you wanted to go, and the limiting beliefs were coming there, but you didn't let it hold you back, and you started to show up and lead from the space of the future you. So I'd love to tap into this, the energetics behind this, because I think that this is probably the most massive thing you can do on an energetic level to break through that glass ceiling, to go to your next level, to become this like high level, impactful leader. And also too, you did point on, and this is very, very vital, is not thinking about the results or, you know, the monetary. You're like, I want this in the hands of homes, you know, like all over the world. So if you can tap on both of those, so the becoming, right, acting kind of as if now, how you do that, and then also detaching from the results and really like the heart, you know, coming from the heart.
Yeah, so there's actually a really practical exercise I do in tapping to do that. And I did this over and over and over again. So tapping traditionally is known to tap on the face and body. There's actually a type of tapping that's just on your finger points, and you just tap on the side of the nail bed and you close your eyes, and it's almost like a tapping meditation, but by tapping, you're really involving the body. And I would tap into my future self. So I would actually have a free download of this on my website, so you can go get it. It's called the Wildly Wealthy Woman Tapping Meditation. And
I'm going to do it.
Do it. It's so cool. And I would sit my body down, close my eyes and tap. And it was very influenced by Joe Dispenza for me. Like, I remember him saying, like, treat your body like it's a pet. Like, you sit, you stay, you don't open your eyes, you don't reach for your phone, you don't reach for a glass of water, like close your eyes and focus. And so I would tap, and I imagined myself walking down a path, and in the distance I would see a silhouette of a woman. And as I got closer, I would notice, like, where was she? What was she around? How did I feel getting closer to her? Because there's an energetic vortex of your future self. And I would notice the shift in my body somatically while I tap, like, ooh, as I enter her, I can feel my energy change. And so I do this with people. As you approach, I ask you, what does she look like? What is she wearing? And it's so interesting because almost every person says she's wearing white. It's a really funny thing by doing this. And I would sit with her, and she would show me things. So she would sometimes show me where I lived. She would sometimes show me people that needed to come or go. She would show me mainly the feeling, the somatic feeling in the body. When the body can get that, it's like a code, that feeling, then it started to manifest in my life. So I did this regularly. It wasn't every day, but like a couple times a month. And I do this now at every level. I just go to her, and she shows me, like, this is what you need to know next. This is how you need to feel. And she's shifted many times from like very glamorous and looking all fancy to being very grounded in nature and very peaceful. So that was the practical exercise I did. And then from a different point of view, in order to become who I am today, I asked myself the question, what do I need to release in order for me to receive? And that question on a regular basis, what do I need to release in order to receive, has been the core philosophy of my teaching in my life. I know when people leave, when things shift, I know that I am being prepared for what I asked for. And so I always declare, like, I'm becoming a multimillionaire. I am becoming known for serving people worldwide through EFT. I write this down, the woman I'm becoming is, write it down, tap it through, say it out loud, let myself hear it over and over and over again. And you'll feel a frequency in your body land that then you just go take action, go the breadcrumbs, go do what you're inspired to do, because the frequency that you're doing it from will attract the right next step. So that's the summary of what I've
so good.
Yeah.
So good. What are some examples of a few things that you've had to release for, the women who are watching right now? Is like, I know you said you left a marriage, right? Was it a marriage that you left in the past? And then I'm sure some of them are, not a marriage, a partner, someone you're with?
Yeah, my daughter's dad, we were together for 8 years. And I just knew we didn't have the same vision, values, and I wasn't being treated how I wanted to be treated. I was going right, he was going left. And so in 2018, I made that decision to leave, and it, as scary as it was, it blew the doors to my world wide open. And I manifested so much stuff that year, from like trips to so much stuff that year.
Yeah.
And then more recently, it's usually people for me. Like, if you're a bright light, you have a big mission, you're going to have a lot of people say, we want to be a part of it. And younger Jackie was like, yeah, come in, everyone be a part of it, come on in. And the lesson that I learned in that is to be discerning with who you allow in your inner circle, because you have an energy, you have a light, you have a mission that people, of course, want to be a part of, and maybe consciously have good intentions, but unconsciously, it's like moths to a flame, like they want to siphon your energy. So I have had to be very discerning with who I allow into the intimate knowings of my business and who I allow to influence my decisions, because when you allow people in, they have influence over you. So I've had to release business people, so relationships, business partnerships, and the belief that other people know better than me for my business. Those are probably the three things that I've had to
things you've had to release.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. This has been so amazing. Now I'm going to have to go journal. And I love that line. What was it? The woman, who do I have? Wait, what was it? Because I really love that, what you do.
So this is actually a prompt that I use. If you join the 21 days, I have it in there. I am becoming is, finish that sentence. The woman,
sorry, you cut off. What was it?
Oh, the woman I am becoming is.
Okay. Yeah, I love it. And then you have the free recording on your website as well. Yeah. So we'll have to go over and do that. And then May's coming up. This is perfect timing to do this live. The 21 days for $21. Is that what it is? Amazing. So what you saw here is what, there's going to be this kind of stuff in the 21 days together. What else is happening in your world?
Yes. So the 21 days of tapping, I use a different affirmation a day, and we tap for 20 minutes a day. So one of the first ones is the woman I'm becoming is. I have you finish that sentence and then tap it in. I have my mastermind. So Millionaire in the Making is my mastermind that I run once a year. That is opening in June, and it is my favorite place to hang out with people. It's not only a mastermind, but it's also mentorship with me for a year. And it's for women that really know they are on the path to becoming a millionaire. They're doing it in an unconventional way and want the somatic subconscious support through me and EFT. And it also includes monthly $1 million roundtables. So you get conversations with other women who've built $1 million businesses in one place.
Oh my gosh, so good. It all sounds so good. I'm like, I want it all. Well, thank you for coming on.
Yes,
What'd you say?
I just said start with the 21 days. That's the place to be. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a perfect segue for people to come into your world. And the freebie that's on your website too, the free tapping, right?
It's called the Wildly Wealthy Woman Tapping Meditation. And my website, JackieMcDonald.ca. It's all free on there.
Well, perfect. Well, thank you so much. This has been so incredible. Thank you for coming on and taking the time. And everyone go follow Jackie and jump over, get her free tapping, and join the 21 days for $21. That's like, obviously. Thank you, Jackie. Bye. Bye, everyone.